2 seconds.
I'll call this meeting of Seneca County Bridge to order for Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Stacy, please.
You'll join me for prayer? Yeah. Lord, thank you for this beautiful summer day. As you guide us through this meeting and we are serving the public of Seneca County, please bestow your wisdom and knowledge on us so that we can do what's best for the greater good of the county. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Kirkland?
Here.
Commissioner Stacy?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Okay, so I'll accept the motion to approve the digital audio video recording of the board session that was held June 26th and June 28th, which is a special session.
So moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Yes. Okay, let's try to get Wyandotte County on the phone.
Oh, you fix that sticky note right there. I like double check them, so hopefully.
Reach the Wyandotte County Commissioner's Office and the CHIP office. In order to reach Sue Schreider or the Commissioners, dial 1.
Yes.
Or for Reza Henson.
Commissioner's office is Ron.
Hi, Ron. Shane Thomas, Seneca County.
Yeah, let me get you on speakerphone here.
All right, thanks.
Still there?
Yep.
Okay, we got all three commissioners there and Sue, our clerk.
Okay, go ahead and read the resolution.
Okay, I have a resolution for the maintenance assessment for collections in 2019 for the Seneca and Wyandotte Joint County ditches maintained by the Seneca County Ditch Maintenance Program. The two I have on this resolution is the Grimes Joint County at 86.3% and the Weininger Joint County at 7.3%. That's all I have.
Okay, so we will take a roll call vote to approve the resolution.
Make a motion.
Oh, okay. So
Make a motion.
Okay.
Beth, do you have any?
Can we get a second from Wyandotte, please?
Ron, second it.
Okay, thank you.
Shane Thomas made the motion here.
Steve Sight, second.
Okay, so we'll do a roll call. Seneca County, please.
Commissioner Thomas?
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Yes.
Commissioner Seitz?
Yeah.
Commissioner Metzger?
Yes.
Commissioner Klinger?
Yes.
And do you guys have a resolution for us as well?
For these ditches?
Or do you guys not have one for Wyandotte?
Oh, we don't have any Seneca.
Okay. Thank you.
All right?
Okay, thanks a lot.
Have a great day.
Thank you. Enjoy the
Bye.
day, folks. Okay, here we go. The first, well, any additions to the agenda?
One thing I'd like to get into the minutes is of all the many accomplishments of Mr. Kirchner, I know the one he's most proud of is his grandchildren. And we have a new one, and we'd like to get that in the minutes. Can you give us a little report on that?
Robert Logan, 8 pounds, 8 ounces, 21 inches long. I think he's gonna be a fullback.
Mother and baby are doing well.
Mother and baby are doing great.
Who won the
Good
poll
news.
down there?
I don't know.
That's all she
8'5" was as close as somebody got.
Okay.
So, yeah, I didn't win, that's all I know.
You got inside information even.
Exactly.
That's all I had.
Okay, thanks. Anything else?
Just the invite from Bascom that I'll share because I'm not sure you guys got that email. go with
For
it.
the groundbreaking
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Did you see it? Okay.
I got it, yeah. We'll
Right.
talk about that. Okay. So the first item on old business, SBA.
Yeah, we had Gil Goldberg in several weeks ago, and he gave a presentation on a program that the SBA has to assist small business borrowers. I had some thoughts on that, so Gil and I met last week, and essentially, you know, what their ask of us is to put money into a fund that would be a automatic equity funding grant to any business that applied and was accepted by the SBA for their loan program. So, you know, the business would have, you know, 10-15% equity, the county would have 10-15% equity, and the SBA and a bank would make up the difference. And the county's portion would be automatically forgiven if the business formulated a plan and executed that plan as per their application. So after 3 years, it would be forgiven. So it would, they call it a performance grant, call it a subsidy, call it an incentive. You know, they're all euphemisms for us giving money to businesses. So my concern was that that there might be, you know, that in the administration of that, you know, we're going to be creating competitors for local businesses, and that might be challenging that the county's giving money to a business to go into competition with, you know, the local restaurant or local storage facility or whatever. You know, I was worried about how we would vet those, and so when Gil and I sat down, you know, we got through that because it's really, the criteria is any approved SBA loan. So whatever fits their criteria is what would, you know, be approved. So you know, so that's kind of what the program is. I gave it some thought myself, and I like it under some scenarios where we could leverage it and get a private-public partnership, and we would be a catalyst maybe for additional private investment into a fund. But for the county to be the the sole funder and be providing the subsidies to business, I just think that's a little bit of an overreach from my standpoint, because it would be, you know, our money that we could be committing to something else. So I'm not a strong no on it, but, you know, I would, I guess, invite you all to look at it closer if you guys want to champion it. But they're looking for an answer from us because they want to roll it out in Seneca County, and, you know, I'm just not there yet.
So at this point, they went to the city of Tiffin, the economic development, and to us to explain the program.
Yeah.
Do we know the status of the city at this point?
I'm told they're interested. I don't know what that means.
Okay.
And what Gil said is he thought it would be better if we had separate funds, then we could designate ours for county only, and the city could designate theirs city only. But he said he's open-minded to that. You just have to be prepared for the eventuality of it crossing jurisdictions, and we could be funding all City of Tiffin businesses. You know, once it's in the fund, it's in the fund. So he felt that it would probably be a better idea to have two separate funds, but like I say, I'm just not there yet. So.
Well, I guess from my standpoint, from a banking perspective, you know, I mean, I'm okay with helping somebody get started with some type of fund, whether it be a revolving loan fund or whether it be some other type of help. The sense that they don't have to pay it back is bothersome to me. You know, I've got no problem with, you know, very little or zero interest, but I do think that they ought to there ought to be a mechanism in place that if they are successful, it's kind of, it doesn't compute to me that if they're successful, they don't have to pay it back.
Yeah.
In my world, if you're not successful, you might not be able to pay it back, but.
Well, that's the rub. You're not gonna get anybody to, even if they fail and don't meet their criteria, they're not gonna be in a position to pay it back. So it's a gift. So,
I definitely would want to look more at it myself, but yeah, there's that funding and the return of the funds and all that, I totally am in sync with you on, and yeah, I don't know about us funding it, we looking like the grantor, I don't know that, grants always sound like a great thing, and somebody tell me what grants are, well, not always free, somebody paying that money, right?
Right.
We hear this all the time on all kinds of issues.
All right.
And I'm not saying, Seneca County has a benefit from some wonderful grant programs and many departments. But, yeah, there's just more to look at there.
I guess that I would like to put our efforts, we like a revolving loan fund and make application for more money. Get as much in that pipeline as we can, because the idea there is, obviously, when they pay it back, then there's money there
Right.
to do the next one. I'd like nothing more than to see that fund build up to, in the $1 million range. I don't know how much we have in it now.
We have a $30,000 balance, but we have 2 loans outstanding, and we have another applicant that's coming in, and that application's gonna go through the state, and that's gonna be
Right.
quite a substantial.
I think, again, the interest rate is favorable, and they're obliged to pay it back. That money comes back to the county, and then that money's relent. I think that's really the scenario that I like.
Yeah, that's a system that
Yeah, makes sense.
seems to
Yeah, not to
be
say,
the
it's high
incentive,
risk.
but yet,
Yeah, it's high risk stuff. We've been very fortunate that at least since I've been here, everything's been paid. So I know there's been a few defaults in the past, but that's the nature of, taking that kind of risk. All right, well, let's table it, and give Commissioner Stacy a chance to read the proposal, and I'll read it, and we'll see.
And yeah,
where
and,
we go.
Gil Goldberg's, a good resource, and he's just trying to put something together, so feel free to reach out to him. I can share his contact information if you don't have it, but he understands what he's trying to accomplish.
Okay, we covered our landscaping in the work session, so we'll go on to job and family services. Do we have any time constraints here?
No, okay.
Okay, we've got a bid opening at 10:15. We want to do that first, and then job and
No,
family?
I gotta wait till 10:15.
Okay, job and family.
Okay, so this is the summary. I had the opportunity to sit in on the Stage 11 review of Job and Family Services. So just as an introduction to what the review process was, there's going to be a little bit more detailed shared tomorrow at our meetings at 10 o'clock. And I think the invitations went out to some folks, and I don't know, I assume the press got those. But this is a point where we can put it into the public eye. So what happened is the state of Ohio does a review. It's not annually, but it's about every 18 to 24 months. And it's completed by technical assistance specialists that are trained by the state of Ohio. They're experienced professionals. They're trained in the format of evaluating job and family service entities. So, is this the clicker?
Yeah, you're just gonna hit the arrow button.
So our last review was the Stage 10 review, which is just a sequence of exams. Was conducted in 2015. There were no items identified as an improvement plan. There were very few counties that had that level of achievement, but Seneca County was one of them. But what was more interesting to me was the most recent one, which was completed in June of 18. We were rated 100% on the majority of the items by ODJFS, and no items were required to be improved. So they cited us as having best practices in many of the areas, and most of them actually, and they, in the report, noted that we were in the top level of our reviews, and that you know, they wished that we would mentor some other counties in their programs, because Seneca County is doing a lot of things right, and they went on to, you know, congratulate us for the work that Child Protection does. Some of the comments that are important to note: timely face-to-face contact with alleged victims. You know, they pulled a sampling, so you know, they're not going to hit every case, but they used statistical methods, random sampled, and pulled files to be reviewed. And they talked to you know, everybody from parents to victims to advocates. So you know, effective practices were identified in the cases reviewed. The assessment of risk and safety were timely and were in good quality. The agency and the court made concerted efforts to achieve permanency timely, allowing a child to be in a home setting where he or she is provided ensuring their safety. The agency makes concerted efforts to ensure frequency and quality of visitations between parents and children, that they're sufficient to maintain and promote the continuity of their relationship, and the agency strives to keep siblings together when they cannot remain in their own home. So I just wanted to give a little sampling of what the more detailed report's going to be in meeting tomorrow, and make sure that we got it into this meeting so it's part of the record. And I think the takeaway is that Child Protective Services and Job and Family is doing an excellent job according to our state auditors.
Yeah, I actually think tomorrow's meeting would, you know, anybody that would like to attend, as long as you let them know that you're coming and they have enough room, you're more than welcome to do that. So there were two meetings scheduled at 10, one at 5:30. The one at 5:30 was canceled because there was only one reservation at that point. So that person could go one-on-one. Yeah. Okay. Good job in Family Services. Well, let's go on to let's do the bid opening.
Sign-in sheet. There's no more out there, right?
Make sure it's the right one. Yeah.
Yeah, open them all.
This is for the Seneca 2018 LPA Pavement Markings Program for various townships, and the engineer's estimate. I just opened these earlier than all these pages marked. Engineer's estimate for this project is $119,133, 119,133.00. First bid I have is from A&A Safety Incorporated out of Amelia, Ohio. Their total bid amount is $90,645.34, 90645.34. The second bid is Oglesby, Oglesby Construction Incorporated out of Norwalk, Ohio. Their total bid amount was $96,690.94, 96690.94. Next bid is Zimmerman Paint Contractors. Yeah. Out of Fremont, Ohio. Yeah. It's not where it usually is, in the middle. Oh, in the back. Their bid amount is $80,216.80, 80216.80. The last bid is Aeromark Incorporated out of Streetsboro, Ohio. Thank you. Their total bid amount, $85,325.40, 85325.40.
All right. Wide range.
Yes. We'll make sure Mark gets those and.
Okay. Any questions, comments about those? Nick, you do have, is it Scipio Township requested us to read something to the record? Let's go ahead and do that now.
Yesterday, Karen Eicholtz brought in 3 resolutions that were passed on July 7th from Scipio Township. The first resolution is requesting that the Seneca County Commissioners rescind the AEZ. The second is a resolution to intervene against Republic Wind LLC Power Wind Project. And the third is a resolution to intervene against Seneca Wind LLC Power Wind Project.
What were all the trustees there? Did they all vote? How was the vote?
It looks like Bradley Bowerman was absent, Rodley Miller and Dale Labe all voted yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, family services, what else do we have that we have a timing issue with? Anything?
You said Bascom, is there something from Bascom you wanted to
Oh,
bring up?
just they've invited us to the Bascom Joint Fire District Central Station groundbreaking ceremony is at 4 p.m. This coming Saturday, the 14th of July. That's this, yeah. And it's just prior to the annual Firefighters Festival, right there on 18, just to the west of the Meadowbrook Causeway, entrance to the park. So we're invited to that. Just wanted to get that mentioned.
I'm gonna try to make it. I'm not certain I can be done by 4. I'm gonna make every effort. Are you gonna be able to be there?
I'm planning to go.
Yeah, I've got other commitments, so.
All right, well, we'll get one of us there, hopefully 2 of us then. Okay, let's go on with the new business on to supplemental appropriations.
Okay, I have a supplement to the permanent appropriations to the maintenance and repair fund, putting $100,000 into contract projects. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund. This is putting an additional $10,000 into the health savings account. We were down to 43 cents. Anybody that comes on now, new employees are getting on the HSA account. This is the contribution that the counties put in. This is just the general funds portion. Any non-general funds cover their expenses. So we had quite a few switch over this year, and some new employees coming on. I have an appropriation adjustment within the M&R fund, moving $2,000 from gas to supplies. I have an appropriation adjustment within the general fund. This is at the request of the sheriff's office, moving $1,400 from, looks like their other expense to supplies. I have a supplement to the permanent appropriation to the general fund. This is putting $5,000 into supplies. This is at the request of, oh, okay, the 0205 account. Whose is that one? So this one doesn't say.
It's the one right after 0204.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look on that. I can't remember who sent me that one.
Quick. Come in, please. Judge Kelbley.
Oh, that's why I didn't recognize. We don't see those very often.
That's right. And they did move their $5,000 of their special projects money to the general fund for the supplemental request. I have a resolution setting time, date, and place to receive sealed bids for the Seneca County Road 19, County Road 39 pavement resurfacing, contract 1802. This is set for Tuesday, July 24th, 2018 at 10:30 a.m. here at the Commissioner's office. I have a resolution authorizing the annual assessment upon benefited landowners as defined in section 613101 of the Ohio Revised Code. Approval of proposed maintenance work for the several single county ditches presently under maintenance work for 2018, and approval of requests for maintenance assessments for maintenance work performed as submitted by Seneca Soil and Water Conservation District, Ditch Maintenance Department, and approved by the Seneca County Engineer pursuant to section 6137.03. And Beth is here if you have any questions.
Why don't you give us a quick summary of what we're doing here, Beth?
This is just normal work that we inspect every January and prepare for the years ahead and collect that money ahead of completing the work for the benefiting landowners across it. So nothing new under the sun, just keeping it status quo, maintaining our drainage so we can all live here.
Thank you.
And I have a resolution fixing a date and time for the viewing and public hearing for the vacation of Vine Alley located in Melmore. Let's see, the viewing is Tuesday, July 31st, 2018 at 9:30 at the location.
Right,
We have it, you have.
Okay.
asking,
Oh.
this is in Melmore.
Didn't know there were alleys in it, Bill.
They're asking for one not to be there anymore.
Right,
That's, it's
Right there.
Vine Alley.
Vine Alley.
So the viewing, you guys will meet out there for the viewing at 9:30, and then the hearing is scheduled here at 10 o'clock, same day on Tuesday, July 31st.
What time? Again?
Viewing's at 9:30, and the hearing is here at 10. Our normal board session.
Can we get to
Yeah, I
Melmore?
know.
Can we get to Melmore and
Kind
back
of
by
is for the
now?
alley.
Yeah.
It's by the rights.
All right.
How long are you gonna look at this alley? There it is.
It's pretty much,
It's just like
grass
but it's
already.
an ORC requirement.
I gotcha.
We would appreciate coverage of that, Jimmy.
See you there.
Yeah.
That's all the resolutions I have.
Okay, I will accept the motion to approve the appropriation adjustments, supplemental appropriations, and the resolutions.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cummings,
Yes.
Commissioner Stacy,
Yes.
Commissioner Kirschner.
Yes. Okay, I think we'll kind of go out of order here for, we are going to go into executive session, and then we do have to come back and convene for 11:30 ditch hearings. So I'm sure that we'll not adjourn, but we'll postpone the rest of the meeting for a while. So, let us, at this point, before we go into executive session, anything else we need to cover? Take public comment. Anybody have anything on their mind back here they'd like to talk about?
Now, Adams Township trustee Dave Brothers. I got a statement I'd like to read about the wind farms.
Sure. Go ahead.
Stand right here, you okay?
I think right here, you get on camera and we
Yeah.
we get your answer right, so
Thank
what we need to do.
Won't take very long.
Okay?
Okay, I am an Adams Township trustee, Dave Brothers. We are local and county officials, and we're voted into office because our citizens of Seneca County believe we serve them in the best possible way and as the majority wants. I ran and received my office as Adams Township trustee, and I'm in my third term. Then I am told that what I think and my opinion doesn't matter about wind farms. And why are they called wind farms anyhow? We are zoned agricultural with some industrial that we as trustees okayed. And the wind farms are definitely industrial. So why do we not have the power as township trustees to okay them and not okay them? You as commissioners have limited powers in this matter, I know, of wind farms. But you have some power to rescind EZ. Please do that. A project of this size needs to be 110% right the first time. There's no second chance. There are just many conflicting answers and unanswered questions. Just a few are. Why have less setbacks with taller turbines? How about a complete and independent study of wildlife kill, birds, eagles, bats, and so on? How about a complete and independent study on health issues? How about a complete and independent study on ice stroke, property values? And what about fires that can't be put out by local fire departments? They have no boom trucks that go 600 feet. Also, the turbine companies are getting taxpayer money, and they should answer to taxpayers. And getting back to wildlife, I'd like to know what the kill rate would be at a coal-fired plant compared to a turbine. I bet it would be a whole lot less. I also would like to quote from what Republic Wind has said to the Ohio Sitting Board. Republic opposes intervention of these residents whose properties are not located within the project area. A large number of residents who seek to intervene in this proceeding do not live near the proposed turbine locations and will not experience any appreciable impacts due to the project. As such, these particular residents have no vested interest in the proceedings. I'd like to know what they're saying there. Further, residents whose properties are not located within the project or cannot attempt to assess generalized concerns or theoretical claims on the behalf of other property owners. Only those property owners who will experience legitimate impact on the project standing to raise these concerns in the proceedings. Does that mean that only the people within the footprint of the project will be able to vote on anything? Sounds like that should be. I think we need to step back and get some real answers from real people. And one other thing, I like to quote. The board should not allow the residents to present any evidence or arguments regarding alleged increases in the cost of electricity from the operation of the proposed facility, unquote. I thought that's what this is all about, keeping the electric costs low and sustained. What are they saying on my electric bills don't go up because we got turbines producing electricity? Don't make sense. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Bill, you have something back there?
Oh, I do.
Okay, come on up.
All right. I guess a little bit off of what Dave was saying. Did you guys see it July 3rd when that was submitted to the siding board? You have a copy of that.
I saw the note, I didn't go in and read it, but I saw that there was something filed.
Through the 11 years that Apex has been here, that's been our only voice, is to tell them to go to the siding board. And now all of a sudden they filed to tell them people in the township that you can't, intervene, you can't talk about it or anything like that. I think that's wrong, and I know they have the map of what they're looking at as far as their project-wise on it, but this is going to encumber more than that project. So I think that, we need to take and, ask you guys to let the people of Adams Township, speak on behalf of their own properties and stuff on that. I agree with them. I think they feel that they're getting deaf ears, from commissioners and stuff on that. I think, you guys really need to listen to what the people are telling you. Another thing, last meeting I think you guys had, there was a gentleman here talking about Life Flight, and he was gonna get some information. Has he got back with you on that yet?
It was our airport manager.
Yeah, that was Brad Newman.
Okay, yep.
He has not gotten back any information as far as I know. He was contacting the same source I think that Ken Majors had talked with at a couple of places, but yeah, Brad was going to bring us some information. He has not done that yet.
Sure, and that's what, that's a great concern we have is with Life Flight. So Dave and I actually went down to Clyde, 'cause that's predominantly where the Life Flight comes out of for our area, and talked to ProMedica. Mercy Life was out on the call when we were there, but basically he opened up his iPad, and the pilot did, and showed us what their parameters are as far as what, they could go around and fly over and stuff. So basically, any structure they have to take at night, stay 2,000 feet horizontally away from it, and then they are 500 feet above them. And then during the day, it's 1,000 feet horizontal, 300 feet above these. Now that's a structure. That doesn't allow for the turbulence. A friend of mine flies quite a bit, so he was telling me, he says, you get up to Bowling Green, and those are 257-foot turbines up there. He says, you get within a quarter mile of them with an airplane, he says, you can start feeling the backdraft on that. So there's huge concern on that because any pilot you talk to, a helicopter, is not an airplane. They're a lot, as far as flying around and stuff, they're not as stable and with that. So with these being 600 foot tall, with the backdraft on that, basically the concern is, the landing zones to be able to get them landed, to be able to, if somebody needs a call. And I believe like 25% of the calls are in the rural areas from the Lifeline aspect of it. So that's a concern of, of mine on that too. And so I guess I kind of want to bring that up to you guys, that there's a lot of, controversy out this, and please look at all sides of it. So that's all I have at this point.
Good, no, thank you.
And I'd encourage you to share those comments with the Ohio Sighting Board as well, because and we don't have any control of the Ohio Sighting Board, so.
That 100% right, but if they're not letting people, they're going against the people wanting to do that.
Right, it's a state law, I just.
Yep, 100% right. Now, as far as these, this is probably number 55 of the way that they've, presented their maps to the siting board.
Yeah.
So, like I say, I think they kind of skew things, so basically they're trying to eliminate some of the people who are really against them, that's really boisterous on this. If you look at the list, yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. So as this thing expands, this is maybe phase 1, phase 2, once they get in, that's not a, so that's why they want to squash as many people as they can on this as far as getting a voice to the siting board. So I think that's totally wrong on Apex for wanting to pursue that to squash anybody in the township who's going to be affected by this. It's not just right into their scope, it's beyond that. So,
Right,
and I know you guys
that's a
have nothing to
state
do with
issue.
state.
I just want to make sure we're clear on what the responsibilities are on the siting board. It's a state issue. Maybe Representative Reineke can help you on that issue, or the Ohio Sighting Board. They have, people that you can contact. I just want to make sure that you
as far
don't
as the township, I know Scipio just, submitted their resolutions. I mean, is there a benefit? I mean, does that catch you guys' attention as far as, proceeding with, requesting to rescind the AEZ?
I don't know what they were thinking, so I'd like to, if they would be here, I'd ask them.
Pretty much they're against them. I just kind of wondered if numerous townships would proceed with that, would that catch the commissioner's attention to proceed with rescinding the AEZ?
I'm not sure what you want to accomplish with rescinding the AEZ.
Basically, that's one of the major things that, as far as the tax benefit of that for the wind turbines is the AEZ, is that correct?
Well,
and maybe give us a scope of what
yeah,
is
the existing projects are accepted under the AEZ, so we'll change those projects. So I just don't want it to be confusing. Sure.
Yes, Mr. Friesel.
Just want to note that there are land agents all over the county buying up leases for further projects. And in Michigan, they're proposing 750-foot tall turbines. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that we could have a project come in next week with 50 or 100 turbines 750 feet tall. With the AEZ in place, we would automatically give them a tax break. And is that something that we really want to do?
No.
Or would we want to stop and think about that? You could still give them the tax break.
Anyone else would like to speak in open session here?
Dawn Hepp. I just want to say, as people come and petitions get signed and signs are in yards and Holly and Shane, are you doing your own checking information for yourself? Are you finding out for your own self what's behind all of the information? Or is it just what somebody tells you as per se Apex about the economical gain for dollars? From the beginning of this until now, it seems like it has gotten stronger and stronger in opposition. As elected officials, just like our trustees, when you go around to the townships and you see that they are intervening. Now I know when they intervene you're saying, well, maybe they're intervening for, or I don't know what they're intervening for, but it's pretty easy to find out. If all of the townships are wanting you to rescind the AEZ, if the township trustees are coming and wanting you to intervene, isn't it something that you should strongly think about?
As I spoke with one township trustee yesterday, I spoke to a couple, but one I spoke to yesterday had questions about what the alternative energy zone meant.
Yes.
So at this point in time, my understanding of the alternative energy zone is summarized as a protection for the county, and so I want to keep it in place. I have no desire to rescind it. I appreciate and will always appreciate the comments and input from citizens and from other elected officials across the county by all means. However, that particular trustee was asking me questions about it and had things he didn't understand about it and just wanted a summary, so I quoted from the law, the aspects that were key to my decision making. So I hope that answers your question now, if that's where I stand.
But they're not here today,
Yeah.
right?
No, they're not here today.
And to answer, I've done, I look at as much information as I can, and, Mr. Fiesel and I have had a number of email exchanges, he sent me some information. Mr. Smith and I have had, a number of exchanges, and I looked at a lot of information that he's provided. So, I try to look at all the information from both sides. I'm not 100% on it, I haven't read everything that everybody's given me on either side, but, there's just too much. But some of it gets redundant, but we continue to watch.
You can't miss those yellow signs when you head down the roads. I mean, they are all over, and those signs are voices. You may pass houses where there's no sign. Doesn't mean they're for or against. It just means maybe they don't want to get involved, or they own a business and they don't want to say. But as far as those yellow signs go, there are a lot, and those are people's voices.
Yeah, I understand.
To agree or not agree on your own personal self for protecting the county with the AEZ, I understand what you're saying, but not all those people that have those signs in their yards, they're aware of the AEZ and all that it pertains to it.
And some of them probably don't understand it either. In fairness, because I know we've got, like I said, we have trustees that had questions about it and wasn't real sure what, and I get that. I get that. That's a lot of information, and in both cases of trustees and ourselves, it's not the only things we have going on, so.
Sure.
And just on the personal side, nobody knows what I personally think about this. I'm acting on behalf of the county. So, my personal belief may be something different.
Can you
But
share that?
I don't think I need to. I don't think it's relevant. So, it's in the best interest of the county.
Mr. Fiesel?
Yes, I just heard Holly say that she views the AEZ as protection for the county. And could you explain how that is? Because in my view, it seems like it's more protection for tax abatement for future projects than it is any kind of protection for the county at this point. Maybe in the past it was something different, but at this point, that's pretty much what it is.
Well, it wouldn't be by far the only thing, but obviously revenue is a main responsibility of what we have, so that as revenue stream is some protection for the county. But specifically, the road use maintenance agreement and what that does and how that's worked through for the protection of the county and the township roads. And I know in most township budgets, the road funds, the money you have available for roads is limited. The education aspect that we get, that's an element that the companies under the AEZ are then required to do. Apex has already been doing educational things. As Power, I've met with them and talked about the educational aspects that they may bring into in the area as they move forward. And then the emergency training. Those are the three I highlighted back a few meetings back, and those are still what I stand for. They would provide training for educational purposes for our emergency services personnel and so forth.
I shared with the commissioners an email chain that was with Prosecutor Devine, and he explained that all of those things you just mentioned are available to the county without the AEZ in place.
Sure they are, but they wouldn't have to be done. They
If the
could come to do them.
commissioners
Same as
decided they would
same as
want
fixing
to-
the roads, Jim. I think you and I talked about that too,
We did.
because if the payment is all done up front, and I'm not gonna be the tax expert on this, but their capital investment, those kinds of things, it's a lot of outlay of cash. Okay, so that happens, where's the priority and how much dollars are left to fix those roads that are gonna need to be fixed as soon as their construction is done? So in talking with other counties who've had the road use maintenance agreement in place and, showing things, if they didn't, it's a good protection for the county, and that's where I stand.
Well, let me explain what was in that letter.
The counterpoint is, I think, this, that the voices of the folks have said it really doesn't matter how much income is going to be generated by these projects.
Absolutely.
Whether it be taxable or non-taxable, whether it be subsidized or not. It doesn't matter. The fact is, the sense is that they are in harm's way. Now, whether it's all real or whether it is just a concern, doesn't matter that much to me. It says that, Bill's concerned about life flight. There may be some positives and negatives to that come through. People's concerns about whether or not property values are going to be the same or worse or better. We don't know exactly. There are all kinds of studies both ways, but the fact is, we're putting folks in harm's way. Whether there's a ton of flicker, whether there's a lot of noise. Again, you can read all kinds of things. What matters to me is that the people that are affected by this, most affected, have the least financial gain and are very concerned that their property values may decrease and that they may be in harm's way. That's all I need to know. You know, if the school, if the AEZ is rescinded, as you said, Jim, we have the ability to negotiate with any power company we want for any structure we want. The power companies have said readily that if not for the pilot, the projects would not be financially feasible. So we, by having the pilot and the AEZ, have to welcome that out and say, this is what we're going to do for you. We're going to make this feasible for you when the citizens don't want it. So the AEZ is a non-starter for me. It's a non-issue. If we wanted to accept power companies, alternative energy companies into Seneca County, we have every bit of every power to negotiate whatever terms we want when they come and see us. Maybe better terms than under the AEZ and under the pilot. But we have opted to continue to use this alternative energy zone, of which I think 11 counties out of the 88 have, as a welcome mat. And because of that, we have other folks sniffing around, looking at 4 or 5 different projects. The concern is, you know, we have a 592 tower, and as you say, you know, then a 700. I mean, where does it stop? And at what point do the townships have some voice in allowing, in enforcing their zoning rules? You know, why is it, as it's been pointed out a number of times, that if you want to build a 200-foot barn, or if you want to put a building up that's out of, you know, out of the zoning approval, you have to go to their board, you have to get it approved, you have to talk to the neighbors, you have some input. Why is it that some company can come in and just negate any zoning rules that are in the townships? How is that fair? I mean, that's tyranny. You know, I said this before, I can't put a shed in my yard because it's a deed restriction. What happens if the state comes in and says, well, forget about that deed restriction, we're putting a shed in your backyard. In fact, it's going to be somebody else's, and we're going to put whatever we want to put in it. And we can come and go when we please. I mean, it's not fair. You know, you can't impose that on the citizens, in my opinion. So the money doesn't matter to folks. We can argue about money or have discussions about money. The fact is, there is not enough money in the world that's going to change the minds of people who feel they might be in harm's way. So just forget about the damn money. You know, it's just, there are a few that are going to benefit and many that are going to have the ill effects of what happens. That's not fair, in my opinion. And the fact that we have the AEZ, again, the reason that needs to be rescinded is because we do not need to continue to put this mat out and continue to have these folks coming in here wanting to build more and more towers and make them larger and larger. Enough's enough.
I've got just a couple comments. One, that, you know, the caveat to that is the projects that are already named and that the deciding board are already accepted under the AEZ, so that we know that. And there is zoning, it's at the state level. So if the township trustees would want to work through their trustee association and get that law changed, I mean, I would advise you to pursue that, because if you feel that the trustees' power has been usurped, then you certainly should you know, have that issue brought up with Representative Reineke. The other thing that I want to say is we had expressed some concern that S-Power hadn't been as present in Seneca County as we had wanted them to be, and that they hadn't provided as much information to leaseholders and affected people. So, you know, calling through the food chain, I was able to get a hold of one of their vice presidents, and he came in and sat down with me, and you know, we went over some information, and so they're going to be more present now. And you know, I've just got a statement from him that I think you know, is worth sharing, and anybody can have this if they want it. He says, Commissioner Thomas, as a follow-up to our meeting the other week, I wanted to provide you with these highlights. S-Power will submit the Seneca Wind application to the Ohio Power Siting Board this month. S-Power is opening a project office in Tiffin, and I know there's somebody in town now looking for office space. They are committed to starting the construction on this project in the second quarter of next year, so that would be 2019. S-Power is a long-term owner and operator that views this as the start of a 30-plus year relationship with the community. We are planning a series of open houses in August for the community. While these are not required Ohio Power Siting Board meetings, and they're not part of the process, we want to make sure that the community has the facts that they need and their questions are answered. So the best way to reach them now, S-Power, is info@senecawind.com. He tells me that email gets carbon copied to 5 different individuals, and it's less than a week turnaround time on questions that need answers. So I wanted to share that because there needs to be more information, more engagement by them, and I think they're getting there. And it's good to hear what their intentions are for this project.
I'd like to make a comment on that. When they have their meetings, they should make it a little bit more user-friendly for the citizens coming. I've been to Apex's meetings, I've been to S-Power when they had last spring. I think Holly was walking out when I was walking in there, but they had such a confined area, and they, basically like a pinball machine, and they're trying to figure out who's who with that.
I think they
and
recognize that.
And that's, to me, that's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Like on Apex's Tuesday night, they had the farmer, the leaseholder meetings, and there's rah-rah, sit down, we'll feed you and all that stuff. You go Thursday, and it's all confined, no seating for anybody, and it was just, to me, that let's have interaction. Let people talk. Let them answer questions. If they're on a hot seat, maybe they can, by submitting information back to the people rather than try to play a pinball game with them.
Yeah, no,
That's totally wrong.
I
That's
agree.
one thing that I think that we need to orchestrate here, if they're gonna have meetings, make it like the folks that are having meetings, and everybody has a seat there. Make it comfortable for the people to have interaction. Don't try to make a true thing just to get underneath the wire, say, yeah, we got our public meeting, but we don't want to hear anything.
Yeah, these are above and beyond, and I think they do want to engage so that questions are answered and accurate information is given, and that's what we've asked of them. So
I'll make sure everybody has a chance that wants to speak. Anybody else over here? Yes, sir.
Name's David Wright. I'm a Reed Township trustee and also resident of Reed Township. And I'm here on behalf of the trustees and the citizens of Reed Township. And we don't want this wind farm. It's going to affect a lot of people. I mean, I know it's the dollar signs. I know that gives everybody incentive to, hey, here it is, come and get it. But we don't want that. My family and I was fortunate enough to take a month vacation to go out west. And those wind farms out west, they're out in the middle of nowhere. They're not in somebody's backyard that's going to affect them. And if they don't want wind power, set up solar panels like California. They got solar fields out there that we went by. It's just unreal. And set them up on the East Coast if that's where the power's going. Don't put them in our backyard to affect us, because it's bringing neighbor against neighbor, family against family. It's a big mess. I know I've talked to several people, whether it be commissioners or township trustees, but we don't want this. And what do we need to do to keep this out of our backyard?
Dave, when you say we, have you had a vote at a township meeting to proclaim against the AEZ or to intervene with the siting board against?
That happened while I was on vacation, so I wasn't there at present for the vote.
Okay.
And Chuck and Jerry, they decided to go against the wind farm.
Okay.
We don't want it in our backyard. We're all three on the same page. I myself, I don't want it either.
So you have a formal resolution at Reed Township?
I don't know if it's formal, it's got a 3 reading rule or what. I was not present, because like I said, I was on vacation. But
your sense is that Reed Township will want to intervene against?
Correct, against, yes. I know we want to intervene against. We're all on the same page with that. But we need to do something. We don't want this in our backyard. I don't care if it's money or not, because that's the root of all evil, money. Somebody dangles that out in front of you, you're going to go take it. Look at the people getting the $500 good neighbor agreements. S-Power come to my house when he found out I was a trustee. He basically tried to bully me, say, hey, we need to set up a time so we can come in and meet with you and your wife. I says, no, I don't have time. I've got a job, my wife's got a job, I've got 3 children, I've got properties all over the place. I don't have time to sit and give someone a half hour So I felt I was being bullied as a resident, let alone a trustee, from S-Power. And there's no way I'd give anybody rights to my property for $500. I don't care if it's family member or not. I mean, that's just how it is. You don't, my wife and I have worked hard for what we have, and we're not gonna give it away for $500. I don't care who you are, but as a resident and a township trustee, we want to rescind against the wind farm. We don't want it. And whatever we have to do, we need to do that, because we are voted in as elected officials, and we can be voted out the same way. I mean, that's just how it goes. I mean, I know that for a fact. I ran a tough election last year against 4 people, and I'm the only outsider in our township, and I got the next vote. So it tells you, you know, if you don't take care of the people, and that's what I got a heart here, and if you don't take care of the people that are in your township, you're not going to be reelected, and we don't want this. Send it to the East Coast if that's where it goes. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else who hasn't spoken?
I don't know if I get to because I was late, but I just had a couple questions. First is, I'm Chris Eichholz from Bloom Township. Is there only 11 counties out of the 88 in Ohio that have the AZ? I think that's
I've heard a lot of different numbers. I mean, I heard 18, but I think there's only 11 active. I'm not sure.
Obviously, there's some that wouldn't probably be potentials for wind, but maybe solar and other forms of energy, but I suppose it depends on when they've been.
I guess that's my biggest question is, and I think maybe that would be nice if you guys could check, is calling some of the counties why they don't have it. I mean, there's got to be a reason why a vast majority do not have it, whether it's an outdated program or all the things that Jim lays out. I mean, I think it definitely hinders us in negotiations with these companies. It's just saying, here, come in. It's not giving us that opportunity to have that dialogue back and forth. Secondly, with not having an AEZ, it would bring more public awareness. If we didn't have the AEZ in place when these 2 projects came, there would be, you know, discussion at meetings about, you know, how we're gonna, you know, finance or what we're gonna negotiate with these companies. So we would have seen this in the paper, we would have knew about it. It seems like the AEZ was put in place back in 2011. I can speak as a landowner that's a younger landowner. Back then I wasn't a landowner, so I had no say, but now I am. So I had no knowledge or understanding of what that all went when that took place. So those are just some of the comments I have. And then I know he's from Apex, I think Mr. Hunker is. You know, I've heard pretty regularly that people, if they are a leaseholder in the Apex project specifically, Apex will let them out of their lease. And I would just like to have him confirm that if he would.
Let them out of their lease for what reason?
If they don't want to be a part of the project and they've had a change of heart. It was mentioned, I think, at the Adams Township meeting by an Apex representative that if someone was a leaseholder with Apex, they could come to Apex and say, look, I've changed my mind, I don't want to be a leaseholder anymore, and I would like out. Would you allow that?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Could you get an answer?
Yeah, could you get an answer? See, the reason why I'm asking it here is it happened in Adams Township during the meeting. Pleasant? I'm sorry, Pleasant.
Adams too.
And Adams, okay. But I was hoping to get it on recording so we had something to go with. If that's the truth, then we have people that are lined up that want out. And we're just trying to help them with that process. So that's why I was hoping to try to get you on record by saying that, but I'm not shocked.
And I do, the statement for that, I do have one resident that's contacted me personally in Reed Township, and they signed up years ago, and they want out of it. If there's a way out, they want out. They don't want it anymore.
Okay. Anyone else?
So Chris, if we were negotiating on the AEZ, your point on that would be that we would be just getting a better deal for the county?
Yeah,
So we would be increasing taxes on a business?
Sure, correct.
Yeah, what you would advocate for?
Yeah,
I mean, we would have higher taxes.
I mean,
on a business.
I think the way, one of the things that I think about when I look at this AEZ, you know, versus not having one and having one is, if we have one, it's just automatic approval. There's no back and forth at all, and I don't. It's, you know, someone that's been in business, went to school for business. I don't see how that's smart business for the county. I mean, yes, you have a business that's willing to put the money forth and come here and invest, but I think we should have a seat at the table is my thought. You know, with the AEZ, we don't really have that seat.
Anyone else? Okay, I will accept the motion to go into executive session to talk about personnel and
Compensation, and I got one on Salem County.
Salem County property. I don't expect to have any big news. We are going to come back into session and do 2 ditch hearings, but again, you know, it'll be kind of nice.
Headline kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those ditch hearings, I
It
tell
won't
you.
make the front page. I
Pretty
think. Okay, so we are.
I will move that we go into executive session for the purposes of personnel and property.
Okay. Second, okay, we are in executive session.